Welcome to part 2 of the course. A question to start with. Is it possible for a church with a small budget to offer a streaming service? To be more specific, is it possible for a church with a small budget to offer a streaming service with a satisfactory quality? The cons that we are told. We don't have the budget for this. Furthermore, we don't have the technical knowledge in-house. And we know several churches who had spent a lot of money on this type of project and it did not go anywhere. Or we are already broadcasting on the internet, but we are not satisfied. Really not. Another one? We did that for a while, but we stopped because our credibility was at stake. And the last one. We know a few churches who are really not doing a good job and are not even aware of it, and this could eventually become an embarrassing situation for them. The pros? Streaming on the net is a very efficient means of communication. Those systems are now quite affordable and easy to use. Back to our question. Is it possible for a church with a small budget to offer a streaming service with a satisfactory quality? The answer is a big yes. It just has to be done properly. A few basic information on technology. It's an answer to a question. The question being, why must we stream at a quite lower speed, the throughput, than what we receive from CDNs, content delivery networks, on the internet? We have to realize that it's a question of technology. When you, the destination or the viewer, request a program from a source, the CDN, there will be an exchange between the two. During the program, or the stream, the bitrate will be adapted, if needed to the best viewer download speed capability. The picture may become softer at times because of a lower bitrate, but there will be no interruption of the program. This advanced technology is called adaptive bitrate streaming. On the case of a church streaming on the internet, from the church to the viewer, if the bitrate or speed requirement is not met, the stream will be choppy or jerky at times, or even interrupted. Furthermore, internet service providers offer an asymmetric service, the download speed being quite higher than the upload speed. The only important thing to remember is, because of technology and services configuration, the church will have to stream at a lower speed than the one used by digital broadcaster on the net. Codec and container. When you receive a stream, you get video, the picture, audio, the sound, and some data, for example, subtitles or closed captions. Because audio and video signal require a lot of space, those two have to be compressed for storage as well as for live transport. The compressor called Codec for video presented in this course is AVC-H264, AVC for Advanced Video Codec, and the audio codec is AAC for Advanced Audio Codec. The video, audio, and data signals are wrapped together in a container. The two containers or wrappers presented in this course are MP4 or MPEG-4 and MKV, Matroska. I'll come back to you on this. HDTV standard configuration. If you already know the following, good. But if you are really not familiar with the following specifications, don't worry, please don't. I will cover those and more in details in a separate lecture, from the very basic to all what you practically need to know. The only thing to remember at this point will be the default purpose configuration for the streaming software. The resolution received at home from the transmitter or cable, 1080i, that's 1920 by 1080 pixel interlaced at 30 frames per second or 720p. That's 1280 by 720 pixels, progressive at 60 frames per second. The color range or color space to present a picture is the BT709 standard. The dynamic range is SDR or standard dynamic range. What's called the color subsampling and the bit depth is 420 8 bits. Again, I will come back to you on all those specifications in another lecture. The interlaced signal does not exist in the digital world. Then just remember this. For streaming service, the config we will use is 720p, BT709, SDR, 420, and 8 bits. A word on interlaced video. It's a legacy scheme from the early age of television to present a picture using two fields. Imagine 1080 lines for a picture. Field 1 presenting the odd lines of the picture, first half of it. Field 2 presenting the even lines, second half of the picture. Then the 1080i signal presents a 1920 by 1080 pixel picture frame in two steps, whereas progressive video presents only complete frames. Computer and HDTV color spaces. We can notice one main difference here in this example, where we have an 8-bit system. For the computer system using the sRGB standard, the levels vary from 0, minimum or black level, to 255, the maximum level. Whereas for the video or TV system using the BT709 standard, the levels vary from 16, minimum or black level, to 235, maximum level. I recall that we are using the BT709 standard for video production and streaming. Professional HDTV. An answer to the question why the professionals are using camera with, as example, 422 10 bits instead of 420 8 bits. If this is what HDTVs receive? The answer? Mainly because of video signal processing and color correction grading, visual effect, done in post-production. In our situation, we are streaming live with no special effect. Our streaming configuration. This setup will enable the largest audience to have a good viewing experience, taking into consideration all their internet services. Already set color space BT709, dynamic range SDR, color subsampling 420, bit depth 8 bits. We have then BT709, SDR 420, and 8 bits. Propose other configuration items to start with. They may be changed over time. Choice between 1080p and 720p resolution. We choose 720p. Choice between 30 and 60 frames per second. We choose 30 FPS for frame per second. The throughput, the streaming speed, 2.5 megabits per second. The audio, 128 kilobits per second. Then we remember our starting config as BT709, SDR, speed of 2.5 megabit per second, 720p, 30 frames, 420 8-bit, and audio at 128 kilobit per second. But please be reassured, I'll come back on all of this more than once with more details and explanation during the course. A word on video projector. Most of the time churches use commercial projectors, offering several different resolution and feature. Just a note here, your 720p signal, as described in the previous slides, will be compliant with almost, not to say all of those projectors. That's it for part 2. You are now invited to part 3.